Hey guys, Chris Clothier with you again on Total Turnkey. Thank you for joining me today for another breakdown of a book. This week, I am breaking down a book that I read earlier this year, all about communication. It became one of my all-time favorites. I've got another book that I'm going to do. I'm not going to do it next week. I'm going to do it a couple weeks out from now, but it's going to be in a similar line of this one. And the book I did was called The Bezos Blueprint by Carmine Gallo. He also wrote Talk Like Ted and The Storyteller's Secret. And the reason why I wanted to read this book to begin with was because as a company, we faced a challenge. And as a viewer, listener, you may face the same kind of challenges every day as a real estate investor, as a CEO, entrepreneur, whatever. We felt like we were getting stale. That's a good way to put it. We felt like we had been in such a growth mode for so long that we maybe had kind of lost our way a little bit in the direction of why do we show up every day? Why are we doing what we do? Of course, we know the answers to this. Don't get me wrong. I mean, again, we're a $2 billion company. So we understand and we know our processes every single day. But the real question was, man, how do we get back to a point of like we're super clear? We feel like all of our communication is like spot on. We feel like every meeting we're having is like perfectly articulated, where everything is just lined up in real harmony. And this happens a lot of times to individuals, to companies, all the way along the line that, you know, the longer you do something, sometimes you can forget, why am I doing this? And we have to be reminded and kind of come back to lessons. So we started reading, and we do this all the time. Of course, that's the reason why I'm doing this. We read constantly. Myself, Kent Senior Brett, we're always, and of course, a lot of members on our team, but we are always looking for little things, you know, just a little story, a sentence, a chapter, a message, something out of a book that we can apply daily. Well, this book, I'm glad that we read it because it ends up being perfect, in my opinion, for any individual or companies that are in our position where you've been in business for a very long time, highly successful, and just need to be able to communicate well with all of your team and your clients, anybody else, that here's why we show up every single day. I'm going to share 5 points that I pulled out of this book that I think will value you, will help you every single day. You should write these down, and if you get a chance, read the book for sure. All right, so here they are. I'm going to start the whole thing off with, this isn't one of the points, but what I got out of this book was simplicity. That's the word I wrote down. I kept coming back to it over and over and over again. Simplicity, simplicity, simplicity. Be simpler with your message. Be simpler with your processes. Be simpler with your communication, internal and external. One of the things I got out of this, and I loved it, one of the points I want you to take home is ban PowerPoint. The reason why Jeff Bezos banned PowerPoint was because he wanted to create a writing culture inside of Amazon. And the point of having that writing culture was to be able to teach the people around them to be able to communicate effectively and clearly, to write out what it is they wanted to say. Instead of doing PowerPoints, they had memos that were detailed and bullet pointed, and he wanted people to be able to learn not to write in this flowery, overused language where you're trying to get more and more sophisticated with the words you're using, but to simplify it and to bring the words down to how can we communicate amongst ourselves in our meetings so that everyone in here understands, and then take that outside of here to our clients. You know, when I thought about this, to me, something that jumped out at me that drives me crazy in the real estate world is it's the word cap rates. We know that cap rates are, it's not business jargon. I don't want to make this sound wrong, but cap rates are used to buy commercial properties. Cap rates were created as a way to be able to judge value on 2 different properties that are completely different, that you cannot have a way of very uniformly determining what the valuation is. Single family homes, we have that. We have square footages, we have lot size, we have, year it was made, materials that were used. Houses are not uniform, but they're much more uniform than, say, do I buy a strip mall or do I buy a warehouse? 2 things that are completely different, that I need to come up with a metric that tells me which one is going to be the better value for my money. That's what a cap rate is used for. But cap rates made their way into single family real estate, and people started using cap rates because it sounds really professional. It sounds like really, number one, it's something that not the average person understands. So when you start talking cap rates, the idea is that people will think that you know more than what maybe you really know, that you sound super professional, like you're really somebody that's super smart at real estate. And the reality is cap rates aren't used for single family homes. But today it's inserted instead of getting a rate of return or an internal rate of return or an ROI, we talk cap rates. I won't talk cap rates when it comes to single family homes. And there's a lot of, I'm sure that some of you watching may have talked to our company in the past, and it's just not something I'll do because cap rates aren't used for single family homes. But it made its way into the language of single family homes by people that wanted to sound smarter than maybe they really were, or smarter than the next guy as a way to get a leg up on the next person. And today that's, for me, as soon as I was reading this, I was like, man, this makes total sense to me, talking about simplicity and talking on a level that people can understand instead of talking like really fancy to make yourself sound bigger, better, smarter. My mind immediately went to this cap rate thing with me. It just drives me bananas. Side note. Okay, number 2. The second lesson I learned out of this was be familiar. Now, they talk in this about using metaphors. Like he was real, Bezos was real big on metaphors. I talk about creating bridges. So familiarity. That's what I took out of this anyway. The way I put it into my own language, that we need as business persons to get really good at creating bridges for people. So when we're talking about things that, especially if an investor has never invested far from home, if they've never invested passively, it doesn't matter what their experience with real estate is, this will be different. And we need to create bridges for investors to understand the subtle nuances, the differences. And we use metaphors to be able to help, the brain says, I want to go to something that I'm super familiar with. So metaphors are used to be able to help somebody understand the similarities from what they know to what they don't know, what we're trying to provide. For me, I call it bridges. That's the word I wrote down, and the thing that I took out of the book was remembering and making sure that I'm able to create bridges for anybody that I'm talking to. It's what I talk to my team about all the time over here, especially on the portfolio side. Help investors to fully understand what we do and how we do it by creating bridges from what they know and understand in their daily lives and what they're familiar with, what people are doing every single day, and then create that bridge over to what we do every single day and how it's going to benefit them through real estate. I love the idea of simplifying our language and creating bridges for investors or anybody we're communicating with to understand where it is we're going and what we're trying to do. Third point, be passionate about your purpose. If you ever come to our company, it's funny, when you first walk in the front door, you don't know that we're a real estate company. Knowing that we do houses, you would never know because we've got huge, it's over here my back shoulder here. We got this neon sign over here. We've got a wall full of pictures and sayings and love letters from our clients, all of our team pictured together. Very few houses, if any, on that front wall when you walk in. But our core values are front and center. For us, we are passionate. Our purpose, they are our core values. It's why we exist to begin with. We're in business. Of course you make money. I mean, come on now, let's not be silly. We all are here to make money, but I don't want to make money by doing the wrong thing. So my first core value, the one that sits out there front and center for us, is always do the right thing. Inherently, we know as people, am I doing the right thing or am I not doing the right thing? We want that to be the ethos around all of our people, everybody, at all times. Every decision you make, no matter what it is, big, small, indifferent, doesn't matter. Are you doing the right thing? For us, our core values are front and center. We recognize that we're not telling the world enough about our core values. Heck, in these videos, you may see more from us coming up here soon about our core values and why we show up every day to do business to begin with. It starts with doing the right thing. It starts with always being curious, which is never stop learning. That's one of our core values. It's, for us, it's treating people right, treating people fairly, and trying to create value where maybe there wasn't value before. That can be fixing up houses. That can be creating a job that didn't exist before today. It can be assisting a family, being empathetic to a family and helping them get into a house. So for us, there's all kinds of ways that you can express your passion for your purpose. For us, it was super clear. Our core values guide us. We need to talk more about that and make sure that it is the living, breathing, reason why everybody shows up to their job every day. Massively important. The fourth thing I got out of this book is make numbers meaningful. Humanize them. I immediately went to, being in investment real estate. We get asked this all the time. Investors come in and say, I want cash flow. I want cash flow. I want cash flow. And